Divination Ink is a powerful magical tool that can be used to enhance intuition, spiritual connection, and manifestation. Hello, this is Pagan Crafting and I'm Cara. I'm your guide to intertwining art and magic and spirituality. Join me today as we go over 10 ideas for Divination Ink. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this video into two different parts. One, we're going to go over 10 different ideas that you could use your Divination Ink. And then I'm going to show you how to make your Divination Ink from scratch. I'm going to share with you my recipe. This recipe is charged up by an August super full moon in 2003. I collected the coals from a circle that was over 34 ladies, and it was charged up by the energy of the night, the moon, the people that were there, the offerings that were given. It's all in the coal. So if you don't mind, at the second part of the video, or if not, you can skip the talking head and you can go right into that, and you can come back to the talking head, however you dig on. Timestamps or in the comments and description below. So starting off with our first idea is writing your grimoire or book of shadows. Oh, you could use just ink. Using a calligraphy pen or a glass pen, you can record your dreams, visions, your divination readings. You can write down spells, rituals. You can power up your incantations. You can create sigils and symbols for protection, wisdom, or manifestation with your Divination Ink. You can write music, songs, poetry, and chant them with your ink. The second one is sigil, magic, and spellwork. Draw sigils on paper. Charge them with the energy of your Divination Ink. Write out spells on petitions, or they can be burned or placed on your altar. Inscribe protective symbols and doors, tools, candles. You can use the ink for anything you can think of. You can anoint a door handle, a little dot, the front and back doors of your house. Number 3, scrying and automatic writing. One of my favorite things to do. I did do a video and I showed how to do automatic writing, as well as we also did some ink scrying as well, some blotting. You can use Divination Ink for automatic writing sessions to receive messages from spirits, ancestors, or deities. You can draw intuitive symbols and shapes during meditation for deeper insight, or after journeying. If you go on shamanic journeying, draw what you see. Ink blotting and folding paper to read shapes. Just some old school stuff. We made shapes and butterflies and all kinds of stuff, but read the symbols now. They're signs. They're omens to you all along, even when we were in kindergarten. Ink drops and then ink over paper and bring out shapes and objects that you see. So I have also dropped just blots of ink on the paper. Don't fold it, just keep dropping. Use different colors of ink from different plants, flowers, vegetables. Anything you can think of, really try. I've used chaga, I've used mushrooms to create inks. A friend of mine actually, oh, where is it? Oh, where is it? I have black walnut ink made from Peckish Pagan. She sent some to me recently. Thank you so very much. She makes her own magical inks as well, and she shared some of that with me. So that is going to be going into some special projects. Share your inks. It's super cool that way too. So after you've dropped down your blotted inks, now you start drawing the lines. Just start making shapes. And what do you see? You might find animals, symbols, buildings, things that might come out that could mean different things to you. It's no different than tea reading. Just you want to find shapes and symbols and things that they can draw out, and what do you see in the picture. Number 4, tarot and oracle enchantments. Write questions on intended paper before reading it and place it under the deck. You can use that energy to bring into the question into your deck by placing on that too. Number 5, candle magic. You can draw on the candle. Now with the ink that I make, I didn't show you in the beginning here, but the ink that I make for my divination ink, it's actually quite thick, and you'll be able to, even if you couldn't see it, you could still use it, but you'll have to be able to draw on your shapes, symbols, names, anything. You can go very fine with the ink because it's super concentrated and it doesn't drip. It's really, really beautiful ink that I've made. You can anoint candles with the ink before lighting them. You can dip the whole candle in the ink, or you can just drop it on however you desire. Now, spirit communication, number 6, is another cool one. Write letters or petitions to ancestors, deities, and spirit guides. Using ink to draw protective symbols on spirit boards or a pendulum mat. Some people are not with the Ouija board. Some people are with it and don't mind using it. If you do use it, maybe on the bottom of a board, just put like a really good protective sigil there. Design one, look one up, find something that's really going to keep the negative mojos away out of there. Now another one here is number 7, dream and astral magic. So some of the things you could do with dream and astral magic is write affirmations and protective symbols on a dream journal. You could keep your dream journal by your bed and your special enchanted ink by your bed and keep that in alignment. You could also, when you create your coal to make your divination ink, add different herbs you'd like. Let's say mugwort for dreams, for astral travel. Throw that in your herbs when you're burning in your fire or on your coal. Some people can't get access to a fire, and not fire, but fire pit, where you can actually collect the coal in the morning and get like some really good coal to make some ink or your black salt. You could also use, which I have here, I have a little coal and I burn, and I have my herbs, and you could get different herbs for intentions and then collect from that coal and make some of your more black salt. I don't know how much it would work for making divination ink, but you can still, my advice is choose the herbs you want to enchant, whichever your desired outcome would want to be. Now, number 8, some of my favorite stuff, art magic and creative witchcraft. Paint enchanted symbols in your artwork. Hide them. You can hide them on the back of the canvas. You can hide them at, say, in a dress of a woman before you paint her. I just did that recently. You could use mixed media and art. Bring binding magic to each brush stroke. Again, depending on what herbs you burned in your coal before you collected your coal, your cooled down coal in the morning, each of that could help infuse and enchant your intentions. It's so exciting what all the different things you could do with divination ink. Now, my divination ink, I will share with you here in just a moment. We got like 2 more to go through here. So, sealing spells and enchantments. So, sealing spell bottles, even envelopes. You could use jars or final written word or a sigil. You can anoint tools with it. You could anoint crystals, book pages for long-term enchantment. You could write little symbols at top of the corners of the book page. Each one can mean something different. When you're using your Grimoire or Book of Shadows, write your pages out in your divination ink. And that gives me to writing magical affirmations, number 10. Write affirmations for success, love, protection, or wealth, and place them on your altar. You could use ink to charge up like your vision board or a manifestation list. Well, that was 10 different ways that you could use divination ink. Now, if you'd like to join me, I'm going to show you how to make that said divination ink. Now, what we're going to make here next is Pagan Crafting Divination Ink. And I only make these 12 at a time. I make them in very small batches with a lot of love and a lot of intention. Each ingredient that I use has been pulled from different elements and pulled from different fires. And this particular batch is going to be used from the sacred circle of over 30 odd women, and they were used in a sacred circle with indigenous and pagan teachings in the August super full moon 2023, I believe. I will put down the video link to that event in my description down below. And that was an amazing night, charged up by 30 odd people, beautiful energy, amazing offerings. One of our indigenous leaders also offered the first plate of food up to her creator. Also, we offered, which is in here, into the fire, we have, I brought a bundle of rosemary, some cedar. My indigenous elder, who was also, her and I led the circle. I led in pagan ways, Celtic pagan ways. She led in indigenous Cree ways. And we found out they're very similar. So it was really cool. The energy of the night was very, very awesome. So I offered cedar, and so did she. She had a few bundles of cedar she offered, as well as sage. We have an offering of a burnt sigil to strengthen our divination. And I used the energy of the August super full moon and the energy of what the ladies offered in love and light. And it was a beautiful night. So the energy just charged up the fire, the sacred fire. It was incredible. I used distilled water in my ink, and that is also charged up by a moon, which I used the cold moon, recent February moon of 2025. These inks will last for about 2 years, and like I said, you'll be able to get them on my Etsy store. I'll have them available for you. I'll have 11 available because I keep one from each batch that I make, because each batch is unique. Well, let's go over to my art altar, my art station, and I will show you how to make your own divination ink. What we're going to start off with is very important, is a mask first. That's going to prevent any of the powder that while you're grinding getting into the lungs. You want to choose from some coal, from some sacred fire. This coal, you don't want the ash. The ash isn't going to do anything. You want this, the great, beautiful, dark black from a high heat fire is going to create this type of coal for you to work with. So we're going to bust up the charcoal here, and I'm going to use my pestilent mortar. You could also use a coffee grinder. Now this could be done outside because it will be dusty, and you want to get this down as fine as you possibly can. It will take about 20 minutes to grind this down, and I'm going to make a batch of 12 2-ounce bottles. So I would like 6 teaspoons of the charcoal. And I think I just made it. Putting in the excess here. And next we're going to use some gum arabic. We're going to use, I have 4 quarter teaspoons, so 1 teaspoon, sorry. But I'm just bringing it intervals of 3, and I'm going to add 1 more a little bit later. This will help thicken. Using my enchanted oil, some moon oil on my old mixer. Everything to power up that I can think of. Enchanting my tools. I did also give a smoke cleanse before I started everything. Rocking in some distilled moon water from the cold moon of February 2025. Bringing in a cup to start off with. Slowly pouring it in and watching the metallics form. It is my favorite part. Look at how metallic it is, so beautiful. Bringing in one more cup of water. And the remaining quarter teaspoon to total 1 teaspoon the full. Next we have is we're going to add a burnt sigil. This one's clear and true my divination. Our last one was to strengthen my divination. This one I would like clear and true messages to come to me. The paper that I'm using here is a dyed paper from purple cauliflower, would you believe it? Using a gold pen for my intentions of the sun and solar energy to come in, because I've used much of the moon. So now I'm balancing it with the solar. I would like this to burn really well. This paper is very thick, so I'm just tearing it down. I'm going to keep these pieces for my grimoires, because I love little bits and scraps and papers like that. Using my black candle, I'm going to be lighting the paper to activate the sigil. As this paper burns, so shall clear and true my divination of intention. Using the ash from this dyed purple cauliflower paper, we're going to infuse that into the ink too. Anything you'd like to write on the paper, whether you wish to write some poetry or an incantation, you can burn your incantation and then add it to your divination. Now, depending what type of divination intention you have is what herbs you are going to add into the fire when you're burning. Next up, what we have here is we're going to be straining. And you could use a 4-ply cheesecloth, or I'm going to use this recycled bag. And I found at first it was a little bit waterproof. I had no idea. So I had to poke some holes with a little needle. I used a needle to poke a whole bunch of holes, and it helped just drip down the fluid and kept all the harder bits on top. It was wonderful. It was just like a one strain deal. So this was a very slow process, but absolutely worth it. If you use cheesecloth, it will be faster, but you'll have to do a double strain. Next up, what I'm doing, I'm just helping it along, moving the bigger bits around so the liquid could filter through. And now that that's done, we're going to remove that, squeeze off any excess ink that I have left. And this wound up looking beautiful in one filtered shot. This bag, recycled bag, just worked out wonderfully. You can see the metallic swirl and glisten. I'm so excited to be able to use this ink soon. Feeling for any grits, but it feels pretty good. So to give a demonstration what the ink looks before I add my favorite ingredient, I wish the camera did this justice, but you can see the glisten of the metallics of the charcoal. Now next, what we're going to add here is Asumi Japanese tattoo ink. Me being an ex-tattoo artist, I still enjoy the best of the best. And I love adding this ink to my divination ink. And now the reason for that is, and I'm adding a half a cup, and I add the 2 different inks, so when you use it in a bowl with water, you're actually going to get 2 different placements of inks for your readings. It is so cool how it works, and I look forward for you letting me know right when you buy this ink. Let me know the things that you saw and what you see when you use it. It is so cool, and I love hearing about it. Now let's have a look what it looks like on paper now, and look at the thickness. The darkness is there. Just absolutely gorgeous. And it looks, look, no flick, no drip, because it is quite concentrated ink. It has been filtered. It is beautiful. It will still have some remnants of the charcoal in, but look at the difference of the two. You'll be able to use pen and ink with this, no problem. With this, I'm going to use a glass 2-ounce bottle, just like my other one, my last batch that I did. Each bottle will receive 2 ounces of this amazing, unique divination ink. I love that each recipe and intention and moon and enchantment is different. Now that I finished making my mess, I'm going to add my super cool labels. I'm excited to add to the new ones, the new batch. Now you too can make your own divination ink. Whatever you wish to infuse it with, even if it's with crystals inside the ink at the bottom of the bottle, have fun, be unique, enjoy your unique enchantment. Until then, happy crafting and have yourself a magical day.